Frameworks, The Price of Delusion, Chapter 3. Dr. Lawrence Decker was enjoying this particular group of students that came on a field trip to visit his company called NRSD. The company's acronym name stood for Nano Rabbit Systems and Deliveries. The students that had come from the nearby middle school were there to learn about the subject of nanotechnology and how this science was about to revolutionize the world when it was combined with the virtual reality experience. He was enjoying their enthusiasm and inherent curiosity as they began to see how this technology was already impacting upon their everyday lives. How many of you realize that you could be wearing my nanotechnology right now? Asked Dr. Decker. The youngster's eyes responded with a puzzled look. The term nano in nanotechnology actually refers to the submicroscopic size of the nanoparticles themselves, he declared. He then started a slideshow presentation and showed them that these nanomaterials and devices were already out on the market. They were found in all kinds of clothing and various other products. He explained to them that these nano devices tracked shipping, inventory, and helped prevent shoplifting. Years back, he cautioned them, you might have been able to get away with stealing a candy bar or a small electronic device from a store, but not now. Technology today has made this nearly impossible. So don't even think about it, okay? The group of 12 to 15-year-olds remained as excited as ever as he continued to discuss the coming advancement that would soon be in computers, telephones, television, radio, and the music entertainment industry. The best advances, he announced, will be in all of the new and outrageous breakthroughs that are happening in the area of virtual reality. The video games that you've been playing with and all the great graphics that you've been talking about will soon be discarded, just like the 8-track tapes were back in the 60s. The what? Said the 14-year-old named Toby McIntyre. You know, 8-track tapes, said Dr. Decker, now realizing that it was way before their time. Never mind. What I'm saying is that these new video games will make the games that you are playing with right now look like they were made in the Stone Age. With today's virtual reality technology, you can play inside the game. You can be part of it yourself, as you will soon see. This little machine, said Dr. Decker as he showed them a small device that resembled a Bluetooth ear device, is actually what brings you inside the game. As one of the players, you'll be able to control all of your movements, your battle gear, your equipment just by thinking about it. What is really cool is that you only have to place it on your ear, added Dr. Decker. Imagine that you won't even be able to tell that you're really sitting on your couch because your mind will be completely interfaced. He continued. A few students went, whoa, while others just gasped and all. What if we could put you in a real race car? You could then experience real scenery zip by you as you navigate your car for the win of the race. Or maybe we could make you into a sub-commander who was on a secret mission. You would have direct command of the men who went with you. You'd get on one of those boats like the Navy SEALs do, and then go rescue someone. Imagine feeling like you had real guns in your hands and not toys. These graphic guns are very realistic holographic tools that you could grab right out of the air. Your senses would not be able to tell whether the guns were real or not, said Lawrence. Now that's what I call a game, said Toby. When does this stuff come out? It should be out on the market in just a couple of years, replied Dr. Decker. They are even designing learning courses for education and virtual recess realities for when it rains. Your parents will someday very soon be able to go on a virtual vacation. The latest internet avatar communities, such as Virtual Life, are already beginning to open up their virtual travel agencies and selling their virtual vacation packages there. What's it called again? It's Virtual Life, Tourchual Life, Virtual Life. Oh, would you like to see how all this works? Asked Lawrence. The kids immediately went ballistic with energy and excitement. Dr. Decker backed up a little as he smiled. He says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, calm down. Unfortunately, we only have time for one of you to actually experience the virtual reality. The others will have to watch it on the video screen." That did not help much as the kids got even more energetic, crying out, "Oh, me, 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 me!" They raised their hands just like they would in class. "Dr. Decker, choose me!" It was a real tough choice to make, but Dr. Decker kind of liked how Toby had interacted with him before, and he said, "Toby, you're the winner." Everyone else responded, "Aww." Some of them even pouted as they were more than just a little disappointed. "It's okay, kids. You'll get your chance soon enough. They will be openly demonstrating these things out in public at the stores everywhere soon. Every one of you will get your chance to try it then. But for now, let's go check this stuff out, shall we?" The kids could barely contain themselves as they moved through the room filled with all kinds of scientific gadgets, microscopes, instruments, and funny-looking devices. Dr. Decker finally walked them over to an area that had a 52-inch LCD TV across from a very plain-looking dark brown couch. "The TV is not for him, but it's for all of you. Are you ready for your little journey, Toby?" said Dr. Decker. "Yeah," said Toby. "Are you sure you're ready?" questioned Dr. Decker playfully. Toby started wondering, what am I getting myself into? But he said, "Yeah, sure, let her rip." Dr. Decker replied, "Okay." Doctor then instructed Toby to place the Bluetooth-looking device on his ear while he warmed it up. He went to another device that looked like a CD player, but that it had a black triangular wireless transmission gizmo also sitting upon it. Dr. Decker turned the instrument on, and then they heard a main booting up sound that was nested among other electronic whistling noises. The device on Toby's ear became alive and operational as well. It kind of took Toby by surprise and startled him a little bit. Dr. Decker told Toby then, "I think you better sit on the couch now." So Toby did. He did not know what to do and expect, for he was used to grabbing some kind of game controller with his hands before he would play a game. He just sat there eagerly awaiting for the game to begin as the kids watched on. They were turning themselves back and forth, looking at him and looking at the TV that was turned on now as well. You could almost hear a pin drop against the instrument's faint background hum and the kids' quiet and eager anticipation. Dr. Decker said, "Kids, you will now want to look at the TV." So they all did. Not one of them was watching Toby anymore. They wanted to see what was going to happen on the TV monitor. Dr. Decker flipped the switch, and they then heard the sound of buzzing. The TV itself began to emanate a pleasant static-like noise as the CD-looking instrument got busy at downloading the game's initial program and imagery. Toby's face seemed to go motionless. His eyes went into a stare at first, and then they fully closed. He was still, however, sitting in the same position of attention. In fact, his attentiveness got even more pronounced as the game progressed. From the inside of Toby's mind, it became white and almost dreamlike at first. 3D imagery began to quickly assemble and organize around him. He noticed there was a whole lot of noise, bumping and swishing, and water spray began to hit his face. It was like the sound of a steam sprayer going back and forth. It went whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 3D living imagery suddenly crystallized into a distinct and robust picture that was accompanied with full quadraphonic sound. Toby realized that he had just materialized onto a very large jet ski boat and he was already driving it. Next, he saw another 3 or 4 skiers zip by him that splashed him with water. Whoa, swish, whoa. Another one went by. He quickly had to assess his situation and then turn the handlebar grips like you would a motorcycle. He too then began to accelerate really fast. He was truly amazed at how fast he was driving and bumping over the water as he navigated out the game's planned course. He could smell the salty air, feel the salty water and experience the sun's gentle touch that seemed to dance upon his face. He also noticed the many seagulls that were flying over high and above in the sky. Yet he really did not have any time for sightseeing now, because he had found himself participating live in a high-pitched jet ski race. The kids watching on the TV never saw a game that was so clear and so cool. They even felt like they were inside of the race themselves as they would sway along with every one of Toby's turns. Whoa! Hairpin turns, speed zones, slow zones, and shallow zones. They all went by Toby incredibly fast. Toby had no time to think about it, but only to hold on and to navigate. Then Toby saw what was coming up just ahead of him in the distance and thought, "Oh no!" It was a huge ski ramp that was approaching fast, and he had nowhere to go. He watched the other riders ahead of him lift up into the air and then bolt off with their power booster accessory packs that had been strapped to their engines. Toby now saw himself at the foot of this giant ramp, and as he grabbed the handlebars a little tighter, he geared himself up in the seat and prepared for his jump. Toby had never experienced the riding of a real jet ski before, and he had never been on a ski ramp like this before either. He spent his last few seconds getting mentally prepared for what was about to happen. Toby thought, if I just go with it and hold on tight, I should be okay. I'll just have to play with it by ear on the way down. Man, this is great. Toby suddenly felt himself getting lifted up high in an elevator. It seemed like he was going sideways and up at the same time. He saw the water course below pull away from him somewhat and felt the cool air flowing around him. He then lunged forward as the ski boosters kicked in. They sent out 2 fire streams from behind him, and he lunged forward. He began to see himself going faster and the scenery starting to blur. He noticed how he was getting higher than he had originally anticipated as the ground seemed to pull back even further. Toby began to think, it'll be over in just a minute and I think I can guide this thing back down. He was also experiencing a slight feeling of weightlessness as he was coming to the apex of his jump. This was where the forces of gravity that were pulling down on him were beginning to equalize the forces of the jet ski's propulsion. Toby was now ready for the trip down. But then something terrible happened.